Welcome back. Well, this is video number 2 of the sawhorse design. Your project should look like this. If it does not, please go back to video number 1 and follow along. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to start to draw out the legs. Our legs, which are these right here, are exactly 1 inch thick by 6 inches wide in this dimension. To do that, what I need to do is actually go ahead and hit the T button, and I'm going to click on this dotted line that I have left over, and I'm going to go ahead and pull out. I'm going to let go of my mouse, and I'm going to type in 1, and I'm going to hit enter. Then I'm going to zoom over to this side right here. Same thing. I'm going to click, I'm going to drag over, I'm going to let go of my mouse, I'm going to type in 1, and I'm going to hit enter. And that did not work. We're going to try that again. Hit Control Z, move it 1, we'll hit enter. Okay. Now, you'll notice that I've actually given my line tool a place to land, and so what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to press the L key for the line tool, or select the line tool from over here, and I'm going to start connecting the dots. So I'm going to click once here, go down to here. Then, if I'm lucky, I can drag over this way, and I can actually select on the intersection of these two lines. I'm going to drag up to here, and I'm going to drag across. Now, if I hit the P key for push-pull, I should be able to pull this up by a total of 6 inches. If it does not allow you to pull it up, let's say, for example, that I forgot to put this line in right here, and I hit the P key and it doesn't work, it means that you do not have a solid shape. So I might have to go back, press my line tool again, and reconnect these two corners. Then grab the push-pull tool, which is the P button, pull it up by 6, and we'll hit enter. And I now have one leg done. The next thing I'm going to do is actually take this leg, hit the space bar or the selection tool, and I'm going to triple click on it, 1, 2, 3, until it turns blue, entirely blue. Then I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go ahead and make a group. Get in the habit of grouping everything so you can see how these are all grouped. The nice thing about that is you can copy paste those later on, and it makes your life a lot easier. Additionally, if you group stuff, then if you draw something on top of it, it doesn't necessarily stick to it, so you can go back and edit that particular group. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate my view. I can use the H key if I want to pan left and right. I'm going to press the L key, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a line from right here to right here. Draw a line across until it intersects right there. Draw a line up until it intersects right there. I'm going to complete my, a parallelogram. Grab my push-pull tool by hitting the P button. Now, if I click and hold my mouse, and if you see how I'm holding it on this edge, and you can see the dotted line that appears, what that'll push-pull is it'll push-pull it to exactly the same height, and I do not need to type in the 6-inch thing again. The other way to do it is that you can just simply pull it up, let go of your mouse, type 6, and we're going to go ahead and hit enter. After I've created this leg right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to my selection tool or hit the space bar, triple click on it, 1, 2, 3, with the left click of your mouse, right click, and hit make group. All right, so what you're starting to see is the beginnings of our sawhorse starting to emerge. Now, you'll notice that my sawhorse is actually standing upright in the right direction. The next thing that you're going to do is going to be quite tricky. The first thing I want to do is actually go ahead and get rid of all these extra dotted lines that I don't need anymore. There's 2 ways to do that. One, you could draw a box over them, hit the delete key. The other way to do it is if you go on the right-hand side here on the eyeglasses and you hit delete all guides, it'll automatically remove all of those dotted lines. So once again, the eyeglasses and then delete all guides. All right, next thing I need to do is actually go ahead and rotate this up. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my selection tool or space bar. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to hold down the control key. And if you look closely at my mouse, you can see that there's a plus sign that appears. So if I hold down that control key, I can actually select this one and this one and turn them all blue. Now, if they do not turn blue, blue, and blue, what that means is that you have not properly grouped them together. And you need to triple click on the object, make it a group, and then we're going to do the next thing. Your rotation tool is located underneath your right here. That's your rotate tool. The other key, the quick key that you can hit for that is Q. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rotate my view so I'm looking like this. I'm going to press the Q key, and what I want to do is I actually want to rotate it on the up and down axes. So if I press my up arrow, you can see how that goes on the blue axis, which is not quite what I want. If I push the right arrow, that is on the red axis, and that looks like it's going in the right direction. If I push the left arrow, you can see how it would rotate that way. So my right arrow, which is the red axis, is the axis that I want to rotate on. So I'm going to click once, I'm going to click twice, and then I'm going to start to rotate it. And if you look down below, you can see the degrees of the angle changing. I want to stop at 90 degrees. So what I can do is I can type in 90 and I can hit enter. Now, typically when you do this, most students, if you do it, what'll happen is this. So I'm gonna go ahead and push my left arrow, right arrow. Okay, there's what the axis. If I click once here, and then I click twice way up here, it's actually going to, sometimes what it'll do is it'll rotate it into space. So what I've typically found is if I'm rotating, if I click once and I click twice and there's a really short distance between those two clicks, it actually rotates better. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate it by 90. Okay, and now you notice how my sawhorse is actually below. The next thing I can do is grab my move tool by tapping the M key, and I like to grab it on a corner, and I'm going to move it up to this spot right here. So what you can start to see is the beginnings of my sawhorse emerging. Okay, I no longer need this rectangle that I created, so I'm going to select it, and I'm going to press the backspace or delete key and get rid of that. All right. What we're going to do next is we're actually going to copy these two legs and we're going to move them over, okay, to 6 inches from this edge right here. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to give myself a stopping point. So I'm going to press the T key for tape measure, and I'm going to move back by a total of 6, and we're going to hit enter. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the spacebar key with the selection tool, and I'm going to select this leg. I'm going to hold down the control key, select this leg, and the next thing I can do is either Control C and then Control V on my keyboard. The other key that you can do is if you tap the M key, then you tap the Control key, what I can do is actually click and drag this over. So once again, that's tapping the M key and the Control key. So I'll do that again for you. Once again, selection tool, hold down the Control key, click, click. Now, I want to activate the Move tool, so I'm going to tap the M key. And I want to tell the Move tool to copy. And to do that, I need to press the Control key, so M Control. And I'm just tapping those. And then I can click and drag this out. At this point, if you're struggling, please raise your hand, and I will be more than happy to come over and show you how to do that. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually shift these two legs in by exactly 6 inches. So what I need to do first off is deselect these. So I'm going to click somewhere in the green. Okay, I'm going to click on this one, hold down the Control key, click on this one, and then this actually has to move in by 6 inches. So I'm going to tap the M key. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to start dragging it. Once again, if you want to force it to go a direction, if you push the arrows on your keyboard, it'll force it to go in a particular direction. So I know that I want to go in by 6 inches here, so I'm going to type 6, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, this is where this particular video is going to stop. So at the end of your video, you should have a 4-legged sawhorse, which is missing this piece, and that piece, and that piece. Good luck. If you have questions, raise your hand.